Hi everybody, my name is Myung Moon and welcome to Unification Church. This Sunday, I would like to take this opportunity to speak about the importance of vision in our life of faith. I want to start off with a story about why my mother and I are wearing the same dress in the picture that was put on our last sermon. And so many people have written and asked, what is the meaning behind this? Why are you wearing the same thing? And yes, there is a very interesting story to that. And that is that my mom and I actually bought those two dresses in two different locations in the world. Preparing to go visit my mother in Hawaii, I wanted to get something nice, and so I very quickly went to the nearest mall and grabbed the first thing that I saw, and this dress happened to be one of two that was hanging on this rack, and so I grabbed my size and ran out in preparation for my flight to see my mother. And of course, later I found out that my mother had purchased her dress at the beginning of her vacation in Hawaii. And she wanted to save that dress for the day that she would be going back to Korea. So she had it in her possession, but she just didn't wear it until the day that she was scheduled to depart for Seoul, Korea. And so on this morning, when my mother was scheduled to go back, I came down for a breakfast buffet and greeted my mother. And she was already seated at a table enjoying her breakfast. But she, had on a dark cardigan, so I really couldn't tell that we were wearing the same clothes. But I noticed my mother looking at me very, very intensely. So as I walked off towards the buffet counter, I was wondering, do I have a stain or do I have a spot on my dress? I better go check it out in the ladies' room a little bit later. But when I came back with my plate full of breakfast and sat down, Mother looked at me and she said, "Injun, we're wearing the same dress." And that's when I realized, oh my goodness. And then so we shared stories as to where we got our dress, and I found out where she got her dress. And it's just uncanny that on that very same morning we happened to be wearing the same thing. And then of course it kind of launched into, well, I guess it's Father giving us a sign. And what my dad used to do many times when he would take the family out shopping is to buy his daughters and together with Mother the same thing. I think in his mind he was thinking, okay, this is my team. This is my heavenly team. And I want to put them forth in the best uniform and everybody wearing the same thing, everybody having the same thing. And we try to, my sisters and I sometimes cajole Father, Father, there is some advantage to people wearing different things. We don't always have to be like George Foreman and his son, George. We can have different names and still be on the same team. And I remember us laughing and joking about that many times. But here we were in Hawaii. And again, we felt here was our Father from the spirit world reminding us that we are one team, wanting to outfit us in the very same dress. And some people might think, well, that's just a coincidence. But when you've lived a life that is complicated and it's exciting and adventurous and full of all of these trials and tribulations, you realize that God works in mysterious ways, and sometimes what the world might take as coincidence actually has great meaning. And so when I think about this story, it has absolutely incredible meaning for me. And the most important message that Father is trying to share with all of us is that we belong to one family. You know, we need to think about unity. We need to work towards unity. We need to make unity manifest in our lives. And so I don't think that it was just, inspirational for me, but, of course, when we shared that picture with the rest of our internet community, everybody wrote in and asking and, wondering what's going on. And when they heard different people sharing that story, people could feel our true Father. People could feel that, Father is very much guiding us and very much with us, very much supporting us in our providential work. And so we realized that, why is that one picture so important? And why is it important? Well, that one picture of two ladies wearing the same dress convey to people a vision of a united family. And so having the experience of seeing that through a picture can get us really excited about making that vision into a reality. And I know that when we refer to the good book in Proverbs chapter 29, verse 18, it says very, very clearly, when there is no vision, people perish. And what is vision? Well, the Merriam-Webster's dictionary defines vision as sight. And it's really the ability to mentally see or have an image or have a picture in our mind. And why is vision so important that if we don't have it, we will perish? Well, people are inspired people need something to work towards. And the picture gives us a kind of like a framework of something that we can work towards creating or making manifest in our lives. So when we have a picture of what we want to accomplish, for instance, even before I went to Harvard, I wanted to make that my goal. And so I already had a vision of me sitting in one of the classrooms at Harvard. And that was a mental snapshot or an image in my mind. But I was very, very clear that one way or another, I was going to get myself there. And I was going to be a student at Harvard and graduate and go on to do many, many wonderful things. But if I never really saw myself or had that mental snapshot of what I wanted to accomplish, I think my attempts to navigate through life and accomplish something in my life would have been a very, very different story. But because I had that vision, I had a sense of mission. In a way, the vision really was my ability to conceive that I was going to be at Harvard one day. But then I also need to believe that I can do this. And that's where the sense of mission or missionary zeal comes in. And, excuse me. And one of the most lovely quotes that Father shared with brothers and sisters is that more than outward agreement, he said, the important thing is to achieve inward unity, the unity of heart. And he shared this with us in August 1st, 1972. And so when I think about having the importance of vision in my mind, but then we go on to the next step, which is actually believing in that vision, and really kind of carrying it out, or what I call 5% responsibility, actually doing the work of the mission to make that vision into something that's manifest in my life. I realized that, this second step really becomes the most challenging and the most difficult, because anybody can conceive or have a mental picture of what they would like to be. Some people want to be fabulously wealthy. Some people want to be, Hollywood movie stars. Some people want to be rock stars. Some people want to be Nobel Prize winners. I happen to want to go to Harvard. That was one of my goals. But the second step, or the unity of heart that is really required to get the job done, is incredibly difficult to deal with in our daily lives. And I realized that in our life of faith, my vision of what I want the most in life is really a united family, a beautiful family. I want nothing more than for me to be able to enjoy my own immediate beautiful family, but also my extended family, the true family, to be united and all working together. But I realized that mental picture needs a root or a core that really allows all the family members to come together and to really work towards building this united family, or this one true family, or the one worldwide family, or the cosmic family. And that is the importance of the root or the core. And so in our life of faith, when we are attempting to accomplish this unity of heart, because we are here to create a revolution of men and women's heart, because that's where the changes start. It's in our decision to say enough is enough. We are going to be the change that we want to see in this world. That's when the good thing starts happening. The good work starts happening. That's when we allow God into this mental picture of a united family, of a beautiful, loving family, and get to work. And the great thing is that, God is here, not just to support us, not just to inspire us, but, God is here to also empower us by sending us his son and a daughter that we call true parents. These are two people standing in the position as the victorious son and a daughter of God, or the victorious Adam and Eve of God. They are here to really help us remain focused and centered on the root and on the core of what is important in our lives, to create a unity around. When we want to create unity, it implies that it's going to be unity with different types of people, different types of backgrounds. But we need a center where we can all meet and unite in our hearts and start working together. And that's where true parents comes in. And that's why it's incredibly important, in this second step of conceive, believe, and then finally achieve, or in my way of seeing the world, having this vision. And then the second step of having this mission, sense of mission, believing in the mission, before we can actually get to creation of what we really want. The creation of the vision that we had in our mind, our mental sight or mental image. And so I realized that, just like if, my sons and my children, they love to cook and they love to bake. And one of the favorite desserts, and one of my husband that I call the dessert monster of the family, one of his favorite dessert is our apple pie. And so when I want to create an apple pie, I have a mental image of what I want to create. And so I already know what I'm going to create in my mind. But then I actually have to go through the process, or my 5% responsibility, or the realm of belief and mission work, of actually gathering all the ingredients, mixing it together and preparing it in such a way and forming it artfully in such a way that when it comes out of the oven, it becomes a beautiful creation of my love for my family with my own unique imprint on it. And so you realize that even something as simple as an apple pie needs that vision. You need to know what you're making in order to follow the recipe. You're like a true missionary. Gotta believe it, gotta believe you can do it, but actually do the work before you can enjoy this incredible creation. And so when there's no vision, when there's, I don't know what I want to eat, or should I, make this or that, or what should I do? When we're floundering, we can easily feel lost. We can easily perish, as the good psalm says. But when we have a vision, now I want to make an apple pie, and these are the steps to do it, and then I can enjoy it with my loving family, then life becomes incredibly simple. And this is what I mean by living a life of simple elegance. Despite all the static in the air, despite all the confusion, despite all the different things that are going on, if we delineate very simple steps to getting things done on a daily basis, life can become incredibly beautiful and elegant. And so these are the three things that have worked time and time again in my life. These three steps of conceive, believe, achieve, having a vision, starting off with a vision. You got to be able to conceive of a vision. Then you got to be able to believe in your mission. What are you passionate about? What are you here to do? And then you've got to achieve it. You got to create something that is uniquely you, that is beautifully you. Because all of us are sons and daughters of God. We're all divine beings. We were born to leave a beautiful, unique stamp on this world of ours. And you have incredible, incredible resource and gifts to share with the world. If we can decide on a vision and tackle our day each and every day in these three little simple steps. And one of my favorite stories that I like to remind myself when I'm constantly reminding myself of the importance of a vision is the cockroach, what I call the cockroach story that my father shared with us many, many years ago. He said when he was fighting for his survival in those concentration camps, and, he was beaten to a pulp, and after a torture session, thrown back into prison, bleeding, sweating, suffering, in total pain. He wanted to find something that he could hang on to. Some thread, some tiny sliver of a thread of hope that God is with him at that moment. And that's when Father heard these two cockroaches in the corner of his prison cell going at it. These cockroaches were making love. And at that moment, those cockroaches became his mental picture or his vision of what he needed to do. Those cockroaches represented the importance of why we are all here. We are here to love and to be loved. We are here to procreate and have a beautiful family. Suddenly the mental picture of a beautiful family came into Father's mind. And he knew that no matter what, because he had that mental image or that vision in his mind, he was going to make it his mission to survive, because he was here born to create a beautiful family and share that family with the rest of the world and inspire other people to have beautiful families. And so this simple exercise in really having or the ability to see this mental picture in your mind gave my father the strength to live, strength to fight. And so here we are, at the dawn of a new millennium, and we want to accomplish great things in the world. And one of the things that my father wanted to do in his lifetime was to work towards the reunification of North and South Korea. But of course, he ascended to spirit world without seeing that with his own eyes. But now that responsibility falls on the children. It falls on us. And really uniting and working together with our true mother to make that happen. So many people, like to say, well, reunification, I don't see that happening. Well, then we've already been defeated before we get started. But just like that little symbol or that picture of those cockroaches making love, reminded Father in his darkest hour why he was born as the Messiah, why he came as the Messiah, and why he needed to live. We need to keep this picture of a united family, of a united Korea, one country representing the country where Messiah was born. And in order for us to really do the work towards creating this one family of God, Father said many, many times, if we don't accomplish reunification, then the other things become difficult. But once we accomplish the reunification of North and South Korea, then the other things, such as unity of world religion, unity of all the sons and daughters around the world, can become a reality. So it is incredibly important for us to have this vision of a united family, have this vision of a united country, united Korea. Because then, once we have that vision, then we work on the second step, which is actually believing and making it our life's mission, our life's goal towards making that happen, which is in the realm of our 5% responsibility, so that we can enjoy the achievement or the creation of that dream. So when Father dresses us and, in a humorous way in the same clothing, he was thinking about, well, my family is a team. Well, our worldwide family is a team. And, I've seen how incredibly excited, my husband get when we're watching the World Cup. All these different nations with their own uniforms, all the team players wearing the same brilliant uniform, fighting a good fight because they want to win the World Cup. Well, brothers and sisters, what we are here to do is much more exciting than just winning the World Cup. Here we're talking about winning and accomplishing the cosmic cup that is waiting for us, which is really creating a world where all brothers and sisters, all sons and daughters, all fathers and mothers, all children of God can feel like we belong to one family of God and that we want to be the living testament of this incredible thing called true love. So when we concentrate on the importance of this vision or the mental picture of winning this, not just World Cup, but the cosmic cup, what is going to be the energy or what is going to be the fuel that drives us or that compels us forward to actually making that a reality? Well, the most incredible and the most powerful force in the universe is love. Unity needs to be fueled by true love, not by power, not by money, not by greed, but by love. And when we allow this incredible power of true love to work in our lives, it's like, we become light bulbs that are not plugged in, but once we are plugged into the socket, incredible energies of true love will come and flow through our veins. And so I think the world vision is incredible in that, yes, it means a mental sight or a mental picture, but a vision also means an unusually beautiful person. The way God sees you and me, he sees you and me as truly a vision of true love. That's the way God sees his sons and daughters. So when we are plugged in, when we are fueled by true love, we become this incredible beacon of light, this incredible beacon of hope, because we have a clear vision. We know what to do. We are inspired and empowered by what we need to accomplish through our mission. And we know how to do it because we're going to do it one step at a time, together with our brothers and sisters, together with our husbands and wives, together with our children, together with our worldwide family. So, brothers and sisters, this is an incredible time. And this is an incredible opportunity for me to share the beauty and the power and the majesty of my Father up in heaven, because he is basically saying, children, do not bicker, do not fight, have a vision, focus on the most important thing. What is the most important thing? It is unity. It is unity fueled by true love that is going to change the hearts of men and women, and that is going to change this world into the world that's worthy of the cosmic cup. So, brothers and sisters, be focused, have that vision, have that beautiful vision of a united family, of a united country, and a united world. And be that beautiful, awesome vision onto the world, because you are an incredible child of God. We are an awesome child of God. So that's what God is seeing in you and me. So it's our chance. It's our gift to give back to God what he and she has given. And that is to be a living embodiment of true love, and of true love. So God bless and take care. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below the video or go to enginemoon.com and use the contact form. And don't forget to subscribe to our email list. And if you would like to contribute to our work here at iHome Church, just click on the donate button. Thank you.